Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast2Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, and we are here bringing you action courtesy of Flatline Racing Bodies here at the Big E. We're at Eldora Speedway this evening for a 360 Sprint Car and 410 action. It is going to be a good one. Let's see here. I'm flirting with something a little different here. We'll see how this goes with this one. If it goes okay, I'll try it again here quick for the 410s. It was just a quick idea on the fly. I used my snippet tool here. Let's bring up the points for the 360s. You're going to get a little bit. Let's make this big here. You see Brian Moore Sr. at the top of the charts right now through 4 races over Patrick Spengler, Jeff Barker there, P3, and Blake Chapman 4th, and Brian Moore Jr. rounding out the top 5. Got the rest of them there if you're interested, but that's something we'll do real quick in warm-ups here. But for the races, there's no reason I can't get myself a little organized and snip photos like that. So we'll try to keep the points updated that way here through Hometown Heroes this season. But right now, going to go into qualifying here. Let's see. Brandon Templeton looks to be the first car on the track. So let's ride around with B-Town. Everybody's going to run that high line through 3 and 4, especially to the opening lap here. But this lap counts. This is felt good with what he had through 1 and 2. Going to run this slider line in 3 and 4. Now that kind of commits you to, you know, your first lap's probably going to be your best lap when you throw that slider on lap number 2. Is right now he is top of the charts. Going to do it again here. Let's go see what the high side banger does. Can he improve Patrick Spangler lap number 2? Right now, Patrick gonna hold tight. Is we're gonna see a lot of first laps be the fastest. Gavin Chatham there, lap number 1, out of the gate flying. Let's catch. Can we find Randy Shreves? He's gonna come around. Where is he? P9. He's a guy you always gotta watch. The salesman Blake Chapman, purple sector 1. Not going to be the pole, but the closest we've seen anybody come to Gavin Chatham. Let's see what the kid's got here as he crosses the stripe. Improved sector 2, but you see slower sector 1. You know, those guys, they run that slider line in 3 and 4, that opening lap. And, you know, you just don't carry as much speed on the second lap when you do that. And, you know, it's what you got to do, especially if you're comfortable with your turn 1 and 2, feel like you did a good job. You want to go all out on that first lap. You never know what could happen, so can't blame them for doing it. You just, like, this is one of those tracks, you know, where, for instance, you know, some of the other ones, the smaller ones, there's no real difference between lap 1 or 2. You're not really screaming on the wall for the outlap. It doesn't really matter, but everywhere is an advantage if you do that. But here, especially with the high speeds, if you can just take to the outside on that opener and carry it through, that's, well, it's going to be a huge advantage as we get ready here for Gambler Motorsports Heat Race number 1. We'll bring up the starting grid here. Starting on the pole, we've got the 531 of Armando Melgoza to his outside in the 518, $100,000, Joseph Grandy. Inside of row number 2, the 31 of Brandon Templeton in your fast qualifier to his outside in the 99, Gavin Chatham. Inside of row number 3, the 56 of Randy Shreves into his outside in that 70 machine. We've got Mike Cramner rounding out the field. Don't see him gridded yet. Hopefully he makes the show here. We got the Ant-Man in the 32, Anthony Morano, but as of now, yet to see him pop up on that grid. So we'll have to see if the Ant-Man is surviving the storm and can make this grid, or if maybe, you know, just trying to get some points here, registering for the race. Trying to go hang out. My thoughts and prayers are definitely with everyone down south right now. If you had dealt with the hurricane last week or dealing with what's coming in right now in Florida, that's a tough break. But there we go. There's the Ant-Man, and the Ant-Man hiking that wing back a little bit, so it's interesting. Now, okay, now he's putting it back down. He's just playing games with me here. I was wondering. Here at the Big E, you know, you normally don't want to put that wing back. You'll lose some speed, so you'll see guys really try to master that throttle control to keep that wing the whole way back, but have to see what the preferred line is here in Gambler Motorsports Heat Race number 1. Is we didn't have over 24 cars here this evening, so everyone will make the show. We're just, Heat Race is going to determine where we start, but the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Let's go play at the Big E. Armando Melgoza leads us to the green flag. The 531 goes right to the basement, but man, $100,000. He takes care of the outside, sweeps the field clean, and Gavin Chatham in the 99 looking to follow suit as there's contact in the back. B-Temp, Mike Cramner, B-Temp, hard in the wall. He's going to have to pull in. Mike Cramner went over. We're losing 2 cars here on lap number 1, but the show's got to go on in the 99 at Gavin Chatham. He'd love to start on the front row this evening, but he knows he's got a tough match ahead of him. I mean, Joseph Grandy, that 518, it doesn't matter what you put him in. On dirt, he's going to find a way to get to the front, and man, it's really hard to get that 518 out of there once he's in there. So good luck to the 99, as he has been able to keep pace right now. Anthony Morano, he's moved himself up to P3. survived the opening lap nonsense, up 4 spots. Remember, he started dead last, so good run for Anthony Morano. He's somebody you're going to have to keep your eye on in the feature, but we roll through 3 and 4. Gavin Chatham looks slow. White flag in the air. Can the 99 make a move? Gavin Chatham can't complete the slider as we go down the backstretch for the final time. Through 3 and 4, Gavin looks underneath, but Joseph Grandy too hot to handle on the high side. He wins heat race number 1, followed by Gavin Chatham, Anthony Morano, Randy Shreves, Armando Melgoza, B. Temp, and Mike Cramner. As heat race number 1 had his excitement there in the beginning, a couple cars involved in an early wreck, then it settled down, but Gavin Chatham just running out of time, had a fast race car, just not enough time to get it done in the 99. As we get ready for Regency Home Inspections heat race number 2. Starting on the pole, the 75, the mare, Steve Bixler. Into his outside, your current point leader in the 558, Brian Moore Sr. Inside of row number 2, the 91 of Corey Denson. Into his outside in the 20, we call him the salesman, Blake Chapman. Inside of row number 3, we have Brian Moore Jr. and rounding out the field to his outside in that 011, that blue and orange machine, the 011 of Randall Dixon. As the mare looks to bring us to the green flag here at Eldora, the pace truck will roll off coming out of 4, and Steve Bixler has 6 laps between him and starting P2 in the feature. Can he hold the field off? Let's go play in the clay. We're underway. Brian Moore Sr., we've seen that high side just be what dominates these restarts, and almost a carbon copy of the last heat. The top 2 there on the high side prevail. Blake from 4th to 2nd, Brian from 2nd to 1st, as the rest of the field settles down here for the most part. As Brian Moore Jr., he tries to take a peek under Randall Dixon. Can he complete the pass? Not just yet. Side by side one more time going into 1 and 2. Brian Moore Jr. gets a little loose in the 011 of Randall Dixon. Keeps fighting back on the high side, but we've got a battle for the lead up front as Blake Chapman reeling in your leader out front, and Corey Denson looks below the mare here. Steve Bixler in a new paint scheme this week. Haven't noticed that one before for the mare, but not helping him hold off, or maybe it is helping him hold off P3 there as he gets a big head of steam on the outside. And the mare, Steve Bixler, puts up a good fight as Brian Moore Sr. looks to take the white flag here one more time around at Eldora. Doesn't have to be perfect here. Has a little bit of a gap to him and Blake as he rolls through 3 and 4. Blake shoots to the bottom. He's going to keep it down there. Not going to get the run, and Brian Moore Sr. takes the checkers in Regency Home Inspection heat race number 2, followed by Blake Chapman, Steve Bixler, Corey Denson, Brian Moore Jr., and Randall Dixon. Brian Moore Sr. showing the field here in heat race number 2 why he's the point leader, and he gets it done. And going to start on the outside of the front row here for tonight's feature as we get ready for Mauer Farm Management heat race number 3. Starting on the pole, we've got the 218 of Superman Kurt Schatzer, into his outside in that 789 machine, Cale Bixler. Inside of row number 2, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, into his outside in the 814, Brad Waite. Rounding out the field in row number 3, we've got the 513 of Jeff Barker, into his outside in the 4, Greg Parmalee. As the pace car turns off here, we'll get ready to take the green flag for the final heat race in tonight's Flatline Racing Bodies 360 hometown event, and we're off here as Superman looks to change the fate here on the bottom. He gets a little help from, I believe, Brad. No, that's not Brad Waite. That was the high side banger down there running in the basement. He's going hunting, and he's the first person to make this low line prevail as he goes 2 for 1. Cale Bixler's got to check out. He gets some help from Superman as they make contact, and Cale Bixler hard in the wall. Battle on for the lead. Brad Waite tries to go low, just can't find a run, and Kurt Schatzer looks to counter back on the high side. Kurt Schatzer now trying to take over P2 here from Brad Waite, but Brad Waite's not going to go away that easy. Or maybe he is. The 218 Superman's got the cape on up to P2 at the line. Gonna clear him going down the backstretch this time. Kurt Schatzer can go to any line of his choosing. Sticks to run that rim like the 39 here of Patrick Spangler. Patrick, remember, he's second in points, so needs to have a good run here if he wants to make up any time on Brian Moore Sr. this evening. But right now, white flag in the air. Final time around for the 39 is without a big move here. Top 5 seems to be pretty set as we go single file through turns 3 and 4. Patrick Spangler protects the bottom, and he takes the checkered flag home in heat race number 3, followed by Kurt Schatzer, Brad Waite, Greg Parmalee, and Jeff Barker. Remember Cale Bixler, he's going to technically round out the field here. He had that tough break, little contact with Superman, and goes into the outside wall, and well, he's going to have to start in the back of the feature here this evening, but we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with feature racing action after this. Stick around. We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Gavin Chatham currently leads the field here in warm-ups, but Blake Chapman, the salesman, right behind him there in P2, so not a big gap. And the high side banger Patrick Spangler is 2/10 down right now. He'd like to get in on that gap a little bit, but Brian Moore Sr. there, the point leader in the top 5. It's gonna be a good one here at the Big E. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat box as you see that checkered flag flying. That means it's the end of warm-ups, and we're going to get ready for tonight's Flatline Racing Bodies 360 feature main event. And with that, let's bring up the RSN trackside starting lineup. Starting on the pole, we've got $100,000, Joseph Grandy, and to his outside in the 558, Brian Moore Sr. Inside of row number 2, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, and to his outside, the Dark Knight in the 99, Gavin Chatham. The salesman rolls off on the inside of row number 3, that's Blake Chapman, and to his outside, Superman Kurt Schatzer. The Ant-Man Anthony Morano to the inside of row number 4, and the mare Steve Bixler to his outside. Brad Waite's going to roll off on the inside of row number 5. Into his outside, Randy Shreves. Corey Denson to the inside of row number 6. And his dance partner will be Greg Parmalee. Armando Melgoza is going to start to the inside of row number 7. Into his outside, Brian Moore Jr. The Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker to the inside of row number 8. And to his outside, B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Randall Dixon in the 011 starts beside the 789 in row number 9. And rounding out the field in row number 10, Mike Cramner in the 70. As we get ready to take the green flag, I said it once, I'll say it again. Get your picks in. If you don't get it in before the green flag, it doesn't count. My pick is going to be the high side banger, Patrick Spangler's. He loves to get it done at the Big E, and we call him the high side banger for a reason. He loves to rip that high side, and man, at the Big E, you got to be willing to go up there and let it eat. As well, we see the 32. He gets a hop, jump, and a skip there. He was blinking. We know he's dealing with some bad weather, so hopefully the 32, the internet providers hold up, and we can get the Ant-Man in our feature tonight. But Pace Truck will pull off this time by. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps at the Big E. 100 grand brings us to the green flag. We're underway. Battle for the lead right away. Patrick Spangler takes advantage of that inside line and goes right down to the basement like we saw him do in that heat race. And looking under 100 grand, Joseph Grandy side by side at the line. Too close to call, but advantage Patrick Spangler with the slider in 1 and 2. 100 grand, Joseph Grandy tries to counter back. He's going to throw one. Patrick can't counter with a crossover as Brian Moore Sr. is side by side to the inside. Blake Chapman looks for P4 under the 99 of Gavin Chatham behind those guys, but he loses momentum. Got to bail off, and Brian Moore Sr. looks to run the 39 out of room. He does close the door, and Patrick Spangler's got to fall back in line. Or excuse me, the 39 I meant to say is now the 39's got the 99 on his tail tank. Gavin Chatham looking for that final podium spot as these guys racing hard, and we still have 21 to go here at the Big E. Brian Moore Sr. with a big send as he tries to close down on 100 grand Joseph Grandy. Joseph just hitting his marks, though, coming out of 4. Brian Moore Sr. looks to the inside, running that diamond line, but he gets a little loose. Can't float the whole way up as Joseph Grandy's there, and it allows Patrick Spangler and Gavin Chatham to close the gap down on P2 as we are battling hard. Let's go back. Let's find a big mover. B-Temp, Brandon Templeton, up 4 spots here as he's trying to go to work on Brian Moore Jr. and Steve Bixler. The mare right now running that middle line. Brian Moore Jr. looking to his outside. B-Temp watching them both go down. He gets into the wall. He thinks about threading that needle. No room, B-Temp. He's got to crack that throttle, go down. He's going to look to the bottom under the 75. Can he get 2 for 1? Right now he's going to have to settle for 1. As Brian Moore Jr. and B-Temp get around Steve Bixler. Let's go back up towards the front. Patrick Spangler still riding in P3, but Brian Moore Jr. with a big run. He's going to send it on 100 grand. Joseph Grandy. Joseph with a counter. He's got to come back with a slider of his own. That's exactly what he does as we watch him race to the line. Joseph Grandy has it for now, but for how long as Brian Moore Sr. looks to solidify this points lead that he has? He is quick. He is the real deal this season. Brian Moore Sr. to the front here with 14 to go. Patrick Spangler looks to the inside as that's going to pay off now for the 99. Gavin Chatham goes to the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. He gets a big run now. He's got to throw that slider on the 518. No room. He's got to stay up top. Patrick was still there. He couldn't go down. And this is where, neither of them want to be the guy to suck up their pride here and let the other one go by, but you're faster than Joseph at this point. Both of them, it looks like, and This is where, you got to almost work together. You got to get him off that top groove. You got to, get Joseph fishing for that bottom, throw a slider on him, and right now it is just not working out. But the high side banger staying committed to the bottom, and well, right behind him, ripping this top shelf. Here comes the salesman. Patrick goes up and shuts the door. Says Patrick, he's just sitting there maybe mirror watching a little bit, but big time move in the front. We saw it 3 wide now for the lead. Joseph Grandy gets in the wall. Gavin Chatham threw a big slider, able to get around Joseph Grandy, not able to hold P1. But right now, Brian Moore Sr. gets in the front stretch wall. My, oh my, Brian Moore Sr. with a huge hiccup allows Gavin Chatham in the 99 to get to the front. Can he win the race to the line? Gavin Chatham's got the lead with 8 to go. Battle for second. Joseph Grandy down there in the basement. Exactly like I said, you wanted to bait him into going downstairs. He makes contact with Brian Moore Sr. Patrick Spangler comes out smelling like a rose here. Goes around the high side up to P2, and Blake Chapman didn't have that luck. Stuck behind these guys, watching these guys go hard as Blake trying to get up to that third and final podium spot. We've got 5.5 laps to go for the 99 of Gavin Chatham out front. No cautions in this race. I am going to say it. Shaggy's going to say it. This thing has gone flag. Just one flag so far. The green. Is it going to stay that way? Blake needs a caution if he wants to have any chance of getting this win, as he needs to get by these guys. Quick caution to have a battle, and Patrick, maybe the same thing for the high side banger. Not able to close in on the 99 of Gavin Chatham as you see the gap coming. There goes Gavin. There's Patrick. 3 more laps around the Big E. Gavin Chatham is walking away out front. The man is putting it down. Last time around, a 14:55. Patrick Spangler with a 14:40. And we get a caution with 2 laps to go at the Big E. Mike Cramner involved in the first caution of the evening. Zoom out here. We'll see if we can figure out what happened with the 70. So right now he's going into turns 3. He's by himself. Got the leaders coming. Gets a little sideways in front of the leaders. And whoa, the Ant-Man. Able to skate on through. But Anthony, you might have to do an underwear change here real quick after this race is. Let's go back here. Let's find the Ant-Man. Let's go on board with the Ant-Man. And let's see what he saw. So you see that inside wall. You can't see anything. Now all of a sudden you see it. He's a whoa, and he's got a car to the outside. That is good driving by the 32 of Anthony Morano. That could have went really south for him in the 56 of Randy Shreve. So good awareness there by the Ant-Man, and that's how you win championships. And Anthony's no stranger to bringing home the hardware at the end of a season. It's now Gavin Chatham. Man, he's got to rethink his choices here, his life choices. What did he do to deserve a green-white checkered here? Can he hold off the high side banger, Patrick Spangler? Only time will tell, as the pace lights are off. The Steve King Foundation pace truck is going to dive in this time by. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. The 99 of Gavin Chatham brings us back to the green flag. 2 laps left at the Big E. Brian Moore Sr. tries a big send. Not going to pay off. You want to be up top. You want to carry that momentum. Patrick Spangler searching that top shelf, trying to get one big last run here. White flag in the air. Final time around the Big E. Gavin Chatham protects that middle line. It ended up being pretty fast, though. He goes down, protects the basement. Can he hold off the high side banger? Yes, he can. Gavin Chatham is your 360 winner here for the hometown heroes at Eldora Speedway. Followed by Patrick Spangler, Brian Moore Sr., Blake Chapman, Joseph Grandy, rounding out the top 5. The rest, as you can see there on your screen: Anthony Morano, Randy Shreves, Brad Waite, Kurt Schatzer, Brandon Templeton, Steve Bixler, Brian Moore Jr., Corey Denson, Jeff Barker, Mike Cramner, Steve Bixler, Greg Parmalee, Armando Melgoza, and Randall Dixon. So big win for the 99 of Gavin Chatham. That one is going to feel good. And, man, one caution here at the Big E, and we know whose fault it was. It was mine for bringing it up, for even talking about it. And, I'm not mad about it. Made the race a little interesting there at the end. So cast your stones my way. No problem. I'm used to them. Is great finish here at the Big E. This place does not disappoint, and Gavin Chatham able to hold off the rest of the field here this evening. Is going to give Brian a second to hop up here in the waiting room, and once we see Brian hop up here, actually Shaggy can do a little bit of work here. Hey, Brian, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I got you, Shaggy.
Hey,
here we are Wednesday night again.
Yeah, man. I told you. It's something about you on these Wednesday nights, man. This is something special for you.
I guess so, man. That was pretty exciting there, man. I actually got by a couple of the fast guys here, I believe. And
let's be honest here for a second, Brian. I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound, but, you'll admit, dude, you drove around these guys, and if not for a mistake of getting in the front stretch wall, dude, I don't know if they can pass you. Brian, you were quick tonight, man. You found something. You figured something out.
Well, it's that, and I hate to say it because everybody's starting to figure this out, but it's that small slider line. And, man, once it went away, I don't know if I could have held them guys off because it was starting to go away there, and I think that's why they kind of reeled me back in. Plus, like you said, I tagged that outside straightaway wall. And that's just trying to run hard and fast, not knowing how close they are behind me, and just trying to be as fast as I can.
No, and at the Big E, dude, you're pushing the limit. You got to go fast if you want to win, and that's what you're trying to do. And, like I say, man, if not for that mistake, it's one thing to catch a guy, Brian. It's another thing to pass him. And you were able to run guys down, pass them, and, you were quick there till you tagged that wall. But hell of a run here, Brian. Should hold on to the point lead with that one. So congratulations, man. Who you want to thank?
Just you guys, Shaggy, and all the people that help you put this stuff on the broadcast, and Flatline Bodies, and the sponsor for this stuff. And I'll give a shout out to Jairus, buddy of my son's there. I think he's watching tonight. And my brother Rick and Rona. They really help me out, just hollering at me, and makes it fun. Makes it more fun when I got people watching that I know and stuff. So, and my son for all the help he does helping me figure stuff out. He's really settling me down, because if you notice tonight, I didn't try that slider line sooner than I should have. I waited and I waited. I was really patient. I hand all that to my son for just telling me, man, you got to be patient, you got to wait, and only throw that slider line if you know it will work.
Yeah, because you don't want to play your cards too early.
Right. And I've done that in the past where, man, I mess up and I get into somebody, and I really hated the way that ended up sometimes, but I feel like I'm doing better now, so I enjoy running with these guys, and I'm glad that they give me the room to run with them.
Yeah, man. Well, you can tell it's really showing out here, Brian. Another podium for you here on Wednesday night. Congratulations, my man. Look forward to talking to you here after this 410 race.
All right. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
All right.
But
good luck, Brian.
Thank you.
That's your P3 finisher, Brian Moore Sr. And now we're going to bring up the man who, well, Patrick, blame me here if you want to. I picked you to win. My apologies. But there at the end, when you had that final chance in the green-white checkered, I know what an advantage it is for the leader. But did you think you had anything to maybe get around him?
No, Gavin's usually pretty good. I got a really good run in 1 and 2, so I thought maybe, but he went down to the slider on 3 and 4, which is what I was going to try. So he's the highest I rating guy in the league for a reason. He's not going to make mistakes when he gets up there. And yeah, I had the lead at the beginning, but I rarely ever take my wing off 0. But I was falling backwards, so I put it to 2, and it shot off like a rocket after that. So may have found something there. Hopefully carried over to the 410s.
Well, the last thing you needed was to find another trick in this sprint car. Dear God, I don't know what the rest of us are going to do, but congratulations for a good run here, Patrick. You know, you've won 2 races here so far this season, but we know you've had some tough luck in the other ones. So able to get a good points night here together and chisel away a little bit at that Brian Moore Sr. lead. So congratulations here, Patrick, and good luck here in the 410s, my man. You got anybody you want to thank?
Just you for the awesome broadcasts each week. Roger from the league, Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this league. As always, a ton of commitment into the league. Train Wheels Racing, Bandit Graphics for this new wrap I have on the car tonight, and to the top 5 guys that were all running clean there. It was pretty fun.
Well, congratulations, Patrick, and good luck in this 410, man. You're the point leader, so go show them what you're made of.
Thanks. Hopefully talk to you soon.
That's your second place finisher, Patrick Spangler. And with that, we're going to bring up the man who stole the show here, Gavin Chatham. I'm going to go back a little bit because this is what's showing on the broadcast. And literally, I almost described it as you did it, as that's what you needed to do. So you had a quick car. You're running behind Patrick Spangler. Do you almost have to wait until he gets a little too aggressive and peaks down in the 518 and open up that top lane for you? Because we know how hard it is to get 2 cars at once. You kind of got to pick them off one at a time here.
Yeah, that's what to be honest with you, when we started that race, I thought the outside was going to be good. And I thought, to be honest with you, I thought we were going to be sitting about 3rd. And then all of a sudden I seen Patrick on the bottom. He was making it work, and definitely got up there. And but yeah, I was just we were both a little bit faster than Joseph, and I was just you know, you have to be patient, but you also, it's a sprint car race, so you can't be patient at this. You have to be patient, but you can't be patient at the same time because it's so quick, and you got to go. I mean, you got to go and get those spots when you can. And yeah, I was waiting for Patrick to kind of open the door for me, and he did a little bit, and I was able to squeeze a car in there, and we were able to run behind Joseph there, and then we started running in Brian a little bit there, and then the gap kind of opened up a little bit more again. So I was like, well, I got to make a slider now. And my plan was to slide Joseph there and slide in front of him and then go to work on Brian. But I don't know if Brian got, I didn't expect him. I didn't expect to clear him, to be honest with you. And I barely did. And that's still, I don't like the race like that. That was a pretty aggressive move. And I know he had to get all the binders there, keep from hitting me. So that's on me. I was a little more aggressive than I like to be, but yeah, so I wanted to try to time it to where and just hit it right where I could slide in behind Brian and in front of Joseph, and then I'll go to work and try to pass Brian there, and it kind of worked out a little better, I guess. But all in all, it's a good race. It was a heck of a race, very exciting, especially for outdoor, because usually it's just right around the top, and a lot of times it's just follow the leader.
Yeah, you know, you're able, though, to peek out a line when you needed to, man. Make the sliders work, and Gavin up 3 spots, find yourself in victory lane. Hell of a run tonight, man. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
I just want to thank you for an awesome job with the broadcast. I just want to thank Coast2Coast Racing, all the sponsors, all the admin, everybody behind the scenes, everybody that puts these leagues on and allows us to come out here and race and put on a good show for everybody. I just want to thank Chatham Motorsports, Mike Schick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, Miller Time Motorsports, and Slide or Die Slide or Die Sim Sports. I want to thank all the sponsors for all the help. Just want to thank the fans for coming out watching these shows and supporting this league, and I hope that was an exciting one for everybody. And I just want to thank my fans as well for coming out and supporting.
Yeah, man, that was an exciting race. Congratulations. Look forward to seeing what you can do in the 410. Good luck, Gavin.
All right, thank you.
And that's your winner here for the 360 main event. You saw there the big slider that he talked about. That was a good move, you know, maybe a little aggressive, but it's what you got to do. And then Brian Moore Sr., we see, gets in the front stretch wall, allows Gavin to get out front in the dark night, man. He just flew away from everyone, never looked back. Congratulations here to Gavin Chatham. Huge win. We're going to take a quick break on the Coast2Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with tonight's main event here. 410s at the Big E. Stick around.
it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get right when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
And we are back live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network for tonight's final event here. The 410s, the big boys, roll around the Big E, and this is going to be a fast show here. 410s, man. Let's take a look. Let's look at these best lap times. I mean, getting around here in 12.8 seconds. This is the real deal. These guys are about to put on a show here at the Big E. So before we get racing, though, let's take a look at these points here. So got the 410s here after 4 races. The high side banger, you see, got, let's do some quick math here. 18 points over Brian Moore Sr. and Brian Moore Jr. there, rounding out the top 3. You can see the rest of the field. But right now, the high side banger is current point leader, Patrick Spangler. So let's see here. And, you know, I mean, for guys who go back and rewatch this thing, if you want your car on the broadcast, do what this man does. Brandon Templeton does not mess around. He hops right in that car. He presses the button, and he goes out and qualifies. He's the first man on the track here. No matter where we go here, and let's see here. Feels good on this first lap. Maybe turned in a little too early. Almost gets that inside wall, but right now purple for B-Temp. Jeff Barker, though, comes around. He comes in P2. Let's see what the high side banger does as he rolls through 3 and 4. A little more of a middle line, stays committed, doesn't slide up as high. Patrick Spengler, green. Ties right now, Joseph Grandy. Look at that. I mean, we see him 4 people down to the... We only get hundredths here, so we're going to have to adjust a little bit. As my SDK was blinking in and out a little bit. We're going to see here, hopefully I did not lag. Maybe someone else lagged. We're going to check over here at the stream here real quick, see if this is behaving. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going slow or anything. I got no notifications, but you didn't see anybody on the track there for a second. So my apologies, as Brian Moore Sr. did take the pole. Blake Chapman, he rolled in P5. Joseph Grandy right now second. And the high side banger third. So Brian Moore Sr. looking to carry over that momentum in the 360s. And I want to see these exact times. SDK is not going to give it to us. We're going to have to cheat and go in here to iRacing. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Look at those times. So Brian Moore Sr. and Joseph Grandy did tie. Patrick Spengler, 1,000th of a second behind them. And B-Temp, 0.008 of a second off the pole. That is some of the quickest qualifying I think we have ever seen here. Or closest, I mean, in the Coast2Coast Racing League. That's phenomenal. My mind is kind of blown at that. You know, you see that at Talladega or Daytona, sure, because everybody's kind of even, but so many different things can happen here at a dirt track that's phenomenal. It shows how even the field here is here. And heat race number 1, sponsored by Gambler Motorsports, is going to look a little something like this. Randy Shreves on the pole. Into his outside, Blake Chapman. Inside of row number 2, the high side banger, Patrick Spengler. Into his outside, Brian Moore Sr. Brian Moore Jr. to the inside of row number 3. Into his outside, Jeff Barker. Not making the call here is Gavin Chatham, so Gavin's going to have to work his way through the field this evening as the pace car is off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 underway at the Big E. As you see Patrick Spengler, he pulled a wheelie there to start that thing. He probably got a little too excited. He had to settle down, fall back in line. As Blake Chapman now, he tries to see if he can go to work on that 56 of Randy Shreves. The salesman didn't get to sell any popcorn after that 360 race, and well, he'd love to come up here and talk to Shaggy, and he knows winning heat race number 1 is a good step in order to accomplish that goal. As Patrick Spengler, we see him tuck low. Can he make the pass for P3? Not yet. Too much grip there in the middle. That's where the cars want to be right now. And very, very tacky track here at Eldora. Not a lot of warm-up time, not a lot of guys, so we'll see this track develop as we go on throughout the night, but we're not going to see much development here in heat race number 1. I think you got to go for a big send, and Blake Chapman's running that top shelf, trying to get a big head of steam, maybe to see if he can shoot under that 56, but 56, he's protecting the middle right now. Randy Shreves doing a great job. White flag in the air, final time around. As we watch him roll through turns 2, Blake Chapman trying to peek up to get that head of steam. He's got to stay in line through 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag in the air. Randy Shreves wins heat race number 1, followed by Blake Chapman, Brian Moore Sr., Patrick Spengler, Jeff Barker, and Brian Moore Jr. Gavin Chatham never made the call there, so he will have to start towards the back of tonight's feature if he does indeed race this evening. Regency Home Inspections heat race number 2 is going to look a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the Desert Demon Terry Landis into his outside in the 814, Brad Waite. B-Temp rolls off to the inside of row number 2, and his dancing partner is going to be the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. The Ant-Man, Anthony Morano, starts on the inside of row number 3. Into his outside, the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Should be the final heat race of the evening here. Not a lot of guys made the call for tonight's 410 main event, so short and sweet here, just how we like it. But man, it is going to be some good racing. Here's the Desert Demon. He loves the Big E, and he's very good at protecting that bottom. And with that middle bottom still being fast right now, let's see what Terry Landis came to do. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Heat race number 2 underway. Terry Landis with a great jump here to start off. B-Temp getting swallowed up, not able to make the pass on the 814. Into the outside goes Joseph Grandy. B-Temp gets a little sideways, has to get a little sideways again in order to stay off Joseph Grandy. The Ant-Man peaks down low. He looks for the 2-for-1, slides up in front of Brandon Templeton, and he carries on, but battle for the lead. Brad waiting the 814 to the outside. The Inferno Motorsports man takes the lead with 4 to go. Joseph Grandy sees if he can reel in there, set that hook on the 814. I think he did. Looks like it's set. He's getting towed around. Terry Landis from first back to third. If he can't get off this bottom, he tries to put up a fight. It's not enough as Anthony Morano looks to get in this picture. He'd love to battle for third here, and he looks to the outside with 2 to go. Terry Landis trying to make it work on the bottom, but is just struggling right now in that 161, as it seems like the high side's where you want to be. And white flag in the air. Brad waiting the 814. Well, he can taste it. Through 3 and 4, he sees the checkered flag in the air, and he's going to win heat race number 2, followed by Joseph Grandy, Anthony Morano, Terry Landis, Brandon Templeton, and Steven Bixler. And with that, I believe, we're going to go to warm-ups here. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast2Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with tonight's final feature of the evening presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. Stick around. We are back on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. Here I am, Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, taking a look at these times here. Very close once again. Not as close as qualifying, but Blake Chapman at the top of the charts here is Oh, I thought I felt a sneeze coming on. It may not go away here as the nose is ticking a little bit. Could have swore it was coming. Hey, Terry, how's it going? Terry comes up and says hi to the camera here real quick before we get ready to roll. But once again here, should be a good one. The last race, don't want to put the pressure on the boys, but only one caution in 25 laps in those 360s. They really had it rolling and battling all throughout the field. We're seeing the track start to get a little bit messy, so may see 2 lines, but I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he stays top shelf dominant. Yeah. It's kind of the case of the Big E. That's what you get sometimes, so we'll let these guys grit up here, and I'm going to pull up the RSN trackside starting lineup for tonight's Flatline Racing Bodies 410 feature main event. Starting on the pole, the 56 of Randy Shreves, and to his outside in the 814, Brad Waite. To the inside of row number 2, the salesman, Blake Chapman, and to his outside, $100,000 in the 518, Joseph Grandy. Brian Moore Sr. to the inside of row number 3, and to his outside in the 32, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Inside of row number 4, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, and his outside in the 161, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. The Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, rolls off on the inside of row number 5, and to his outside, B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. And, Brian Moore Jr. to the inside of row number 6, and to his outside, Steve Bixler, and that's what was kind of got my attention. Gavin Chatham not making the call here for the feature, so gonna only have 12 guys here. The 99 not around. We're hoping Gavin's okay. Everything's all right. Not sure where the 99 lives exactly, so not sure if he's experiencing, you know, any of the problems we have with weather, but tell you what, 25 laps here at the Big E. It's about to get down. Here's Randy Shreves. He has got to hold off a bunch of wolves, and I'm going to pick the 20 of Blake Chapman to win this one. We'll see who gets it done. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. We're underway at the Big E. As Randy Shreves right now, sorry, I was looking at a message from Blake's mom. Not sure if it's me who's getting spotty now or if it's them and I was. Sorry for the tough break here as we're trying to keep things rolling, but right now I'm not getting any alerts. It seems good on my end, and it's good for the 56 of Randy Shreves because he's got these cars battling hard behind him. Blake Chapman to the outside of the 518. Can he peek back to the inside? He's going to try here through 3 and 4. No room to complete the slider. He's going to keep it in the middle. He's going to send it up. He's got to do it now. Blake, though, going to stay committed to the bottom, and Joseph Grandy going to take that momentum and roll right back around on the high side. Anthony Morano going to see if he can sneak up and around here as we're seeing everybody in iRacing blink out again. So that means it is a Shaggy problem if it's going on like that. But once again, not getting any dropped frames or anything on my end, so hopefully it stays up. Hopefully we don't get kicked out of this session, and hopefully we can continue to bring you a good race. Here's Brian Moore Jr. up 2 spots early, but he's got a big gap to him. In front, Terry Landis as well. Terry not really behind anybody. He's kind of in his own world right now as we got a battle for the lead. Not too sure who that is on the inside there. That's Brandon Templeton trying to nurse it back around to pit road as we stay under green. Battle for P2, $100,000 with a slider. Brad Waite trying to counter back into 3 and 4. Brad gonna send it up, but Joseph Grady able to counter back, and Blake Chapman trying to follow the tow along here, seeing if he can get a ride. But right now, Blake, you know, he's kind of at due here. Now he's got to force his way up there. Big move by the salesman. That's what he's got to do. And now Anthony Morano, he's got to get just as aggressive here. I mean, it's hard to pass at the Big E. When you see your chance, you got to take it. Anthony, though, stuck in the middle, not able to move in front of the salesman. Will we see a big slider? Yes, we will. Blake, you got a lift and counter out of that one. That's exactly what he did. Anthony got a little loose up top, and, you know, we saw that coming. Blake did what he needed to do, maybe a little late, and, well, that brings Patrick Spangler in this. The high side banger finds himself up in P4 here. Your points leader. Randy Shreves all out front, loving the way this race is going here. Nice and smooth as we see the battle and pretty much going on behind him. Brad Wade here trying to sneak around the outside. He's behind Brian Moore Sr. and Anthony Morano. Anthony, we saw him take advantage early, move on up, but after that mistake, got a little sideways, lost those spots back as Patrick Spangler looking for third place here, sneaking down low, running that Blake Chapman line. Blake, we see him go down to the basement a lot and search for it, but right now, Patrick trying to go down there and see what he can find as we got 10 more trips around the Big E. These boys, they're running out of time. It's going to go quick. As up on lap traffic. Oh, man, that could have been scary. Big move. Joseph Grandy looking for the lead. Slide job. Gets into the outside wall. Randy Shreves counters back. Patrick Spangler goes around. Hard hit with Brian Moore Sr. No caution at the Big E, and your points leader has to go down pit road. Back to the front. We got to watch the battle for the lead. If we get a chance, we'll go back and see what happened there with Blake Chapman and Patrick Spangler. But for now, got to watch this as Blake Chapman throws the rear end of the 518. Joseph Grandy, you know, that's an experienced driver there. Lifts out of it, realizes, hey, you know, I'm not going to win this race right now, but I'll tell you what, I can sure as hell lose it. And he does the smart thing, falls back in line, and with coming around here, 5 to go, he's still got a chance for this thing. He's got to hope the salesman goes up here and starts battling with Randy Shreves as we watch him roll through turns 2. Blake Chapman trying to get up on that high side here, really trying to build up momentum and keep that thing as straight as he can. Joseph Grandy struggling to keep up with the 20 of Blake Chapman. Maybe burn it all up early. With 3 to go here, Blake has to be perfect if he wants to be able to get to the rear end of Randy Shreves. He is running out of time, and well, with a spread out field like we have right now, just looking around, I don't think he's going to get any help with a caution. He's going to have to do it the hard way. He's got to drive his way up to the front. And with 1.5 laps to go here, white flag getting ready to fly for your leader, Randy Shreves. Final time around the Big E. Can Blake get it done on the high side? Trying to carry a big run. Final time through 3 and 4. Blake to the high side. Randy protects the middle. Not going to get it done. Randy Shreves wins the 410 main event here at the Big E, followed by Blake Chapman, Joseph Grandy, Anthony Morano, and Brad Wade rounding out the top 5. The rest of your field is on the screen there. Jeff Barker, Brian Moore, Steve Bixler, Terry Landis, Patrick Spangler, Brandon Templeton, and Brian Moore Sr. Gavin Chatham, he's listed there. We saw never made the call to grid, but man, 1 caution in 50 laps here of sprint car racing at Eldora. What a night here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Absolutely phenomenal. So we'll give these guys a minute or two to catch their breath here, and we'll bring up 100 grand first here for his interview. Is Joseph Grandy able to get it done and finish on the podium? Probably not as high as he would have liked, or what he's used to in that 518, but podium's a podium nonetheless, and I think he's still going to be happy about it. Let's bring up the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Hey, Joe, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hello.
Hey, dude, you able to bring it home
Good
P3?
race.
Oh, you got me? Yo, Joe, you got a copy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Got you now. What's going on, man? Oh, not too sure here. Let's bring up, let's see, maybe it was a problem on my end. We're going to see here. Hey, Blake, real quick, man, do you have a copy? Hey, Blake, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy? I'll tell you what, man, my Discord doesn't want to work with people right now. Let's see here. We're going to pull him down here. Okay, so this is maybe a Shaggy problem. Can any of you guys hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, weird. Nobody could hear me up there, but I can hear you all here. So let's behave ourselves. Let's do this all at once here. We're going to talk to Joseph here first. Hey, Grandy, able to get yourself up to that bottom step of the podium. I know it's not what you wanted, but you got to feel good after 25 laps of green flag.
Yeah, it was a fun race. I had to pick up a phone call there with about 6 to go, and got a little rough for me, but thought I was going to crash the car actually a couple times, but held on and I got a third. I'm happy.
Yeah, we had a lot going on there. Were you guys in that session? I got a question for you here because it was twice in my replays. Were you guys having any lag there at all? Because looking at my YouTube broadcast, that was fine. No lag there, but you guys blinked once or twice for me. Was iRacing having any problems for you guys?
Felt fine to me.
Okay, all right. Didn't do it for me in the 360. Just did it twice there, but everything seemed all right. And now Discord was acting funny, so must be something going on my end. But hey, Joseph, congratulations, man. Big P3. Who you want to thank?
Inferno Motorsports, Midwest Sim Sports, Catalytic Recovery, West End Tone and Repair, Highline Photography, girlfriend Olivia. Appreciate you, man, for doing the broadcast and Coast to Coast and all the guys behind the scenes.
Well, hey, great job, Joe. Another podium, man. Look forward to talking to you maybe Thursday night, man.
Thanks. Good race, guys.
And all right. Okay. So now that perplexes me how you guys can hear me down there, but man, my mind's blown. But Blake, man, able to race yourself on up to P2, it was not easy. I mean, you had to throw sliders, you had to work your way around. And were you expecting this thing to go 25 laps green flag here?
Definitely not, and I was definitely expecting the track to change a lot, which I felt like it did quite a little. You can run that middle line and you can run that top line just about the entire race, and there's a lot of good hard racing going on up front. Definitely sliders back and forth for first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or as far back as you want to go. It was really good racing. So when you're getting that many sliders, I definitely expected a few more cautions to come out.
Yeah, no, but everybody, we saw you have to lift out of it when, Joe threw one on you. Joe had to lift out for you. I mean, when you guys put on a show like that and you race each other the way they're supposed to, I mean, dude, it doesn't get much better than that. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm sure, you'd love to be sitting where Randy is tonight, but after running that hard for a P2, man, you got to feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, definitely. Randy's had a great week. He ran a great race. First of the Renegades win on Monday, and now here winning the 410s. He was going to be tough to catch, and he ran a really good race. Congrats to him on the win. He definitely earned this one tonight. But yeah, I don't know. The car just didn't feel great tonight until about 10 to go or so. I don't know. Maybe it was the tire wear coming into play or whatnot. Just the later in the race it got, the better I felt for whatever reason. But yeah, overall it was good racing tonight.
Yeah, man, you had a rocket ship. You're able to run down Randy there towards the end, but just not enough time. Ran out of laps. Congratulations on the P2. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the family for watching. I got to thank all the guys at KSR. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on.
Well, congratulations, Blake. Good run, man, and another good points night for you here. I look forward to seeing what you can do tomorrow night there in the small blocks and big blocks, my man.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Good run, Blake.
Thanks, Randy.
And there we go. Okay, it won't even let me I wonder what's going on here with my Discord, because I'm trying to move Blake. It won't even let me move Blake now. This is so weird. But anyways, on to you here, Randy. Man, you're the man of the hour, able to get out front early. And, you know, I mean, with the way that 360 race went, was there any thought in your mind, you know, get out front, maybe this thing goes green flag? Or, you know, did you anticipate a caution or two?
No, that never crossed my mind. I really thought there was going to be a caution, and then I think if that would have happened, I think Blake definitely would have got me. But yeah, it was definitely fun. Definitely a little tricky for me, just running out front the whole time, just not knowing where to run and just trying not to hit them slick spots. I just know that they slow you down, so I was just trying to avoid all the slick spots I could and try to just stay fast.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you touched on it a little bit there, but for everyone else, you know, that doesn't get to run out front like me, Randy, you know, that really is a skill in itself you got to kind of develop. I mean, talk about that a little bit. How tough is it to, you know, set the pace out front and try to find the fast line? You know, you don't get to follow anyone. You don't get a ghost car in front of you. You know, that's a tricky deal. As I believe, okay, so Shaggy is having trouble with Discord here. I'm not sure if it's a Discord error. My Discord actually shut off on me right now. We're going to open it back up here and see if we can find Randy, but he's probably wondering what the heck happened to me. And I'll tell you what, Randy, I'm wondering what the heck happened myself here, because no connection issues popping up, not getting stream lag here, but yeah, Discord. So Discord not working with me properly. And I'll tell you what, Randy Shreves, man, I owe you an interview here. We're going to get you at least a real good shot of the race car here, because I'm trying to open Discord to come talk to you, and the checking for updates button is just constantly spinning. So I think with that, Randy, we're going to have to cut your interview a little short. My apologies here. I've never had this trouble with Discord, but great race here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We retreated to 25 laps, green flag, and this man in the 56 able to get it done. And man, that's 2 wins for him here this week. Able to win the Renegades division on Monday night. That's no joke. And then come in here and beat Patrick Spangler and Blake Chapman in the 410s here at Eldora. That's no joke. This man's on a hell of a week, and we'll have to see if he can continue that role next week. That's going to do it for us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network this evening. Huge shout out to Flatline Racing Bodies. Couldn't do this Hometown Heroes stuff without you. You guys are super dedicated to us, and we appreciate it. So from everyone on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, I'm Zach Chapman signing off for Shaggy TV. Have a good evening, and come join me tomorrow at 6:45, 7 Eastern here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Have a good evening.